Let's get corrupted. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Joe with Meteoric Serpents coming back at you for another episode of the Colubrid Corruption Podcast. Guys, I hope you're doing super well. Today is episode number 77 of Colubrid Corruption, which is super awesome. And we have a round two tonight with previous guest. And this guest was episode number 6 of Colubrid Corruption, which in looking at it was a year and 8 months ago. So it's going to be really good to catch up with Kris. I'm sure you guys are excited. Kris has a lot of cool projects. So it's really just an update episode. And if you don't know about Kris, once you watch this, go back and watch his first episode. It was episode 6. So go check it out. But yeah, thank you all for coming out to watch Colubrid Corruption once again. I do have some Daytona FOMO for sure, seeing all the cool stuff, cool animals at the show, pickups from the weekend from other people and all that stuff. But yeah, let's get right into it. Let's have fun. It's Sunday. Maybe the guys driving home, everyone who's driving home will listen to this on the way. So what's up to anyone who's on their way home from Daytona? So yeah, special shout out to Fulvius Apparel, the sponsor of Colubrid Corruption. Guys, if you're looking for your latest reptile related apparel, shirts, hats, hoodies, and some other accessories / merch, coffee mugs, koozies, all that good stuff, go check out fulviusapparel.com and use code CC10 for 10% off your order. Once again, that's code CC10 for 10% off your order at fulviusapparel.com. Thank you, Justin, for supporting the show. Guys, if it's your first time listening to Colubrid Corruption, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit a like here on the YouTube video. Once again, we're chasing 1,200 subscribers, so everyone counts, and I appreciate all of you. But yeah, definitely go hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you know every single time the podcast goes live as well. And then if you don't particularly like watching or listening on YouTube, you could also get this on all the major audio podcasting platforms like Apple, Spotify, Google Play, also YouTube Music. I know it goes to there as well if you have that. So check it out on all those platforms. Give it a 5-star review and share it out with some friends who like colubrids. So yeah. Guys, make sure you support USARK Florida. Those are the organizations that are fighting for our rights to keep our reptiles on the state, local, and federal levels. So definitely go do that. And also, if you're looking for a conservation effort to donate to, you should check out the CCR Conservation Corps. This is going direct to research and conservation currently in Iowa. If you listen to CCR, you get all the updates that Zach gives about the research going on there. It's really cool. And you should definitely consider donating to that. That's where the Colubrid Fest auction is going to. So yeah. And then speaking of Colubrid Fest, guys, we are officially less than a month away. Colubrid Fest 2025, September 12th to 14th. At the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I am so excited. I will have a table there. If you have met me before or have not met me before, please come and say hi. Really looking forward to everyone, to meeting everyone, and seeing faces from last year as well. So, yeah, I'm just super, super pumped about this. This is, obviously I moved, so Daytona was a little bit of a harder show to get to, but this is going to be my fill as a traveling show for sure. So yeah, Colubrid Fest September 12th to 14th. And speaking of that, I am giving a talk, and I just wrapped up my not so rough draft of a PowerPoint presentation, which I sent off to Zach, and I'm awaiting review. So if you're looking forward to this talk, I have it kind of, oh, sorry, I hit my mic. I have it kind of worked up, so I'm looking forward to giving this, and I hope to see you all there. But yeah. Also forgot to mention, if you're not following me on social media, that's how you stay updated with the show for sure. It's at Meteoric Serpents everywhere, everywhere you could possibly find me. And also the first link in the description below goes to the Meteoric Serpents Patreon. If you're looking to support this show a little bit more, You could also leave a super chat on the YouTube, but at that point, I'd rather you just come join the Patreon because you get to hang out in a cool Discord group chat with a lot of like-minded people who enjoy and want to keep and breed colubrids. So super cool. Plus some other things, discounts on my available animals, first dibs, and all that good stuff. Plenty of other things. You could go check it all out on that Patreon link. So definitely consider doing that. Let's see. We got a lot of people in the chat, and I know some of the Daytona stragglers. I see Justin just got home in time. That's good. I'm going to quickly say what's up to these people. Hey, Hunter, what's going on? We got Heretic Reptiles. Thank you for being here. Got Shane from Above All Scales. What's up, my dude? John Lassiter. I'm going to ask Kris in a minute, but I hope, John, that you drag Kris to Colubrid Fest with you. Maybe, maybe not. Just stuff him in the car. Morph Valley Reptiles. Ryan, what's going on? Thanks for hanging out. Oh, we got Keller in the building. Keller D tier. I guess if he's going to call me Joe D tier, he's Keller D tier. So what's up? We got Mike from Solid Serpents. Thanks for tuning in, Mike. We got Phobia Farms. Nice. On their way home as well. Kris from Copperhead. And yes, Justin just got home in time. Awesome. And Adam from Ivory Colubrid Co., one of the Patreon members, the first Patreon member, actually. So thanks, Adam, for tuning in. Let's see. Oh, we have our hashtag Colubrid Corruption of the Week. And I know I've shown off this person a bunch of times because I really like their stuff. But I have to give a huge shout out to them because they hit a major achievement. And if you're kind of hearing that, you may know what it is. But absolute huge shout out to Chaz. I'm sure he's going to listen to this at some point, but Chaz hatched out his first group of captive bred Jansenii, which is super awesome. I believe, if I'm looking here, I believe he said after the fact he thinks it's a 3.2. So I believe it was 5 total. Beautiful looking babies. It looks like they all of them went the distance, if I'm not mistaken. He put the work in and got them to hatch. So big shout out to Chaz. That's our hashtag Colubrid Corruption of the Week. Guys, if you want to be featured on the show, I do this once a week. Just put hashtag Colubrid Corruption on your Colubrid posts, and one of them gets a shout out when I do the show. So again, shout out to Chaz hatching out those Jansenii. Yeah, I don't want to wait any further, hold up our guest any longer. So let us welcome Mr. I see he changed his name on there. Kris D tier Pain Shab from Badlands Herpetoculture. Welcome back. Good to have
What's
you
up,
back.
Man? Dude, you wake up in the morning, piss excellence, right? When you're knocking these D tier snakes out of the park. Chaz, huge shout out. Jansenii, that's bottom of the barrel, right? We're getting it. We're really scraping the bottom of the earth to get these snakes out. And that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's where the passion comes from. It's not about money. It's not about the social media. It's not about the pros, right? It's not about getting all that out, right? It's about two things: scraping the bottom and labubu's, right? And that's what we're doing today. Joe, thanks for having me on. I'm ready. I'm geared up.
Of course.
Coors Lights. I got my infamous 100% pure whoop ass. Oh hell yeah! Stone Cold Steve Austin lunchbox full of beer. We're good to go.
There we go.
Be a good one. Have you had anybody else on twice?
Yeah, Justin's been on a couple times. Justin's been on like 3 or 4 times now. Chaz has been on 3 times, like very quickly. A couple
Love that.
For the roundtable episodes, we had a couple repeats, but yeah, a few others, but yeah, no, it's definitely good to have you back, especially since you were in like the first 10 episodes. That was the start of the podcast, and admittedly, like I was way more shaky back then. I was just like, I don't really know how to go about these conversations, and it was a lot of Billy put me in touch with the entire THN crew, so it's nice to be like actual friends with you guys at this point, and now these conversations are a lot less awkward.
It's weird starting out meeting new people, and you're kind of meeting them digitally, and you kind of create this idea in your head: have I actually met this person? I talked to him through the internet, right? Is that real? And it's kind of funny when you see them in person. It actually feels like, you have a bond with them. It's I talk about that a lot, is creating these bonds and these friendships, and it's cool, man. It's a vibe. It's such a special thing that the internet has given us, kind of in this day and age, that we can have actual friendships and never really even meet each other in person. It's pretty special. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. We did get to meet at Daytona last year, which was cool for sure. But yeah, once again, just good to have you back on here. But yeah, like I kind of prefaced, for anyone who didn't listen to the first episode, go back to episode number 6 when you're done listening to this one, and listen to Kris's intro if you want a little more background about him and how he got into snakes and stuff. We're not here to do that tonight. It's more so kind of an update episode, see what's going on in Kris's collection, breeding projects, all that. Like I said, it's been a full year and 8 months, which is about 2 seasons worth of snake breeding, because we're at that time in almost September, when things are kind of starting to wind down, perhaps, or the end of hatching season. So yeah. But first off, like I was saying, you were in the background. Are you hitching a ride to Colubrid Fest by any chance?
I'm not. So this year was pretty dedicated to a couple of family things that we did do, and because of that, and my work schedule, I wasn't going to be able to do Daytona or Colubrid Fest.
Gotcha.
I have a good amount of snakes that will be going with Mr. Lassiter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he'll have my a lot of my snakes, and I think our our show display. He's actually taking some of our equipment.
Nice.
So he's going to have some cool stuff. Plus, he's got some cool stuff he's already hatching, and some other friends I think may give him some stuff. So he'll have probably some of the, as far as D tier goes, he's going to be like D++, right? He's going to be moving up on that D tier. Not touching C. We don't want to do that, right? But he'll have some D tier there for sure. So that'll be good. But no, I do want to go. I think what they're doing with Colubrid Fest is amazing. For me, Daytona, you talked about that FOMO. I got the FOMO. I saw a bunch of cool pickups. I think everybody I know got a pair of Algama, which is the Baja Mountain King Snake. It's in that Zonata group. They're badass. I know Harry got some killer pickups. I know Justin got some killer pickups. And it's just not seeing the family, right? I went the last 3 years in a row and didn't go this year, but I'll be there next year. And we may make some kind of an exception to hit Daytona and Colubrid Fest. I think that'd be that'd be pretty damn fun. And for what it's worth, the Colubrid Fest thing is my best friend turns 40. I turned 40 this year. He turns 40 this year. I'm not missing his birthday. He didn't miss mine, so I'll be going out of town for him.
Nah, I hear you. Yeah, I think in my book, just looking at people's pickups, I think Harry wins with the Tiger Rats.
He got Tiger Rats, and then his wife got Algama, and it's two of the rarest, coolest species in the hobby as far as just absolute magnificent. You never see them, and those tigers he picked up were beautiful, gorgeous animals. Oh yeah, that's a species. I don't. My collection is always. I talk about that. I'm always sculpting. I'm always trimming and adding, and I like to do that. I'm over 25 years into this, and I think that if you don't do that, sometimes you've got your passion project, right? You got your stuff you're not getting rid of. For me, that would be like by Janai, some of my corn projects, some of my alternative projects. That's me. That's literally who I am. Those are the things that really define my collection and my personality. But man, those Spilotes, those are pretty badass, man. That's something if in the future, maybe a little bit more time, maybe spend a little bit of time making display enclosures. That'd be something really special to do. That's a neat species.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got my Fulvius apparel. Huge shout out. Justin Smith, my man. I got my Pantherophis shirt on, dog. Y'all don't even know about that. I got that reverse logo. Oh, y'all got logos.
Is that the Taxonomic Anarchy shirt?
It's this one.
Or a different one? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Nice.
I always have them do the small Fulvius logo on the front for me. Justin's a great person to bug. Reach out to him, make custom requests. Anybody in here can do that. He likes it if you just message him a lot, especially when he doesn't respond. Sometimes he gets busy, so just keep messaging him. I got a new logo that he hooked me up with. He does logos. He's not super expensive. So yeah, this is the S tier shirt, John. Huge shout out, John. This is the S tier shirt. I can't have the S tier. I don't do that. I don't even know how to get to S on the alphabet, dog. I can't read, right? But I get there. Eventually, I'll get there. I'm gonna go back to school. But yeah, Justin does logos and beautiful shirts.
Yes,
he's a special character in this hobby, and Fulvius has really got some badass stuff. I think he did.
They do.
Too, yeah.
I hope more people actually check it out and don't just like take it for like whatever. Because when I wear my Fulvia shirts, like I enjoy wearing my Fulvia shirts, and they're cool reptile shirts. So last time I asked, I don't think anyone used the promo code. Guys, go use it. Go get yourself some cool shit, because there's some cool a lot of Colubrid related shirts on there. So head to Fulvius Apparel, use code CC10, get yourself 10% off. Put in a nice big order with Justin and make him happy. Make yourself happy with new shirts.
And like I said, just keep bugging him. Just honestly, don't stop. It's good. You got to motivate people, right? Anyways, what's up? What have you been up to, Joey? What do we got? What do we got moving? What do you got? You get some babies out this year?
Me, yeah, I only had a couple hatch so far. I have 18 eggs in the incubator right now. We're on like day 43 and 40 for a couple clutches. It's two ball python clutches and some cockeye. So
those cockeye are cool,
yeah, but ball python D tier for sure. But we got
that's S plus. That's its own tier. All right.
Oh, okay. All right. But no, we got some ball pythons rolling. So stuff's coming soon. But everyone knows about that. What's going on with you, Kris? What's gone on the last 2 years?
The last 2 years, well, I believe 2023 when we first talked, I had hatched Pitiophis vertebralis for the first time that year. That was a I don't want to say it was a tough project, because once I kind of figured out the way that they go about their breeding, it was pretty easy. And kind of sorting out the babies were a little difficult off the bat comparatively to other Pitiophis. They're a secretive snake, right? They don't really want to do too much, but I have successfully bred them 3 years in a row now. In fact, this is my incubator back here, and I have my clutch from this year actually pipped yesterday. So I've got 5 beautiful babies poking their heads out. They're like this. They're like a atomic orange heads when they come out. It's such a beautiful animal.
Remind me, vertebralis are the Cape gophers?
Cape Baja gophers, yeah. These are the ones that are down at the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula. And nice. They're really, I've got some Bimaris now. That was, I think I talked about this. There was a couple pickups I was trying to get, and we'll get into that. I did get to kind of round out the things I was looking for. But yeah, the vertebralis they're really neat. They're real neat. At the time in 2023, I had started pairing my leucistic Florida pines, and didn't get any in 23, didn't get any in 24. This year, I got a nice healthy clutch of 6 eggs, and all 6 hatched out perfect. It's 2.4. Awesome. They've actually shed and fed. They're monsters. They're just giant snakes out of the egg. I've been off and on with black pines. In 23, my black pines, I wasn't breeding them. The female had a really bad recovery in 22 from laying eggs, which I don't like to see. So I decided not to breed her in 23, and she produced 2 good eggs. Anyways, which was fine. And then I got her beautifully back up to size. I cooled her, and then in 24, she didn't breed on her own. Which they locked up. It just didn't happen. And then this year she produced for me. So got black pines back in the bin.
Nice. This was a cool picture. I featured this one last week on the hashtag, but and then it happened to be the thumbnail photo. But very cool contrast here, hatching the blacks and the leucistics. So yeah,
they're really cool. The leucistics are about 50%, maybe 40% bigger than the blacks, which is pretty surprising. They're monster eggs. It's the biggest. It's like a 2-foot snake almost, like an 18-inch plus snake when they come out of the egg.
Really,
that's wild. I actually, one of the pictures I didn't send you, it goes from like the tip of my hand to like the armpit, not the armpit, whatever this guy right here is. But I'm not like a small dude. Like it's a big snake.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big knockout. And then one of the things that I've kind of continued to work on, is Pitchopus depii jani. I was talking about the continuation of my Aberant group. I don't know if I'm going to call them. I don't know if it's my line. They were unrelated parents, and I had gotten a Aberant female in my first clutch of producing them. And then the next year, I didn't get an Aberant. The next year, I don't think I got an Aberant. But this year, I produced this from that same group. And so this is an almost patternless Jani. Maybe not patternless is the right word, but it's like kind of striped, kind of stippled, kind of weird. It's a really neat Aberant. So one of the things that happened with this is I had from my first clutch of Jani a pair that went to my buddy Dustin Grahn, and he produced a snake with the babies that he got from me that looks every bit like this. And here's the weird thing, it's female. So every single one of our Aberrants that I've produced is female. So the two that I produced this year, this one is the absolute best example of it yet, right? Both of them are female, but I got a clutch from my first Aberrant female, and I got 8 good eggs out of her. So she's actually that picture right there. So that's
this one.
That's the first Aberrant that I produced.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a stunning snake, right? Like that is super, super cool. So I think, that kind of washed out Aberrant look is going to continue on, but she gave me 8 eggs this year. They're all perfect. They're going to hatch probably in the next 15 days.
Nice.
That's super exciting. The pictures right above that are actually the parents that produced the Aberrants.
Okay.
So that's the female right there. And you can instantly tell it's female with that kind of the shock of the orange stops early. The females I've kind of noticed have more contrast and usually a lighter base color. And then the male, you can really tell you have a lot more orange and washout.
Gotcha.
And a little bit prettier reds on him. And they're unrelated, but how unrelated can these animals be, right? They're from Mexico, and it's not like we have a whole bunch of new blood coming in the hobby.
Right.
So yeah, that was one of the projects I really wanted to see where it went, and now we kind of know. I hope those babies come out really nice. They might all come out with 4 eyes and be kinked and be, tails coming out of their noses. I don't know. That's one of the neat things about working with this stuff is, this is as far as I can tell, like a line bred trait. Maybe it doesn't act like anything else, I guess. And I'm only getting females, so maybe it's tied to the female gene.
I was gonna say that's the more interesting part, I think, is that so far you've only hatched females. I think at this point you have to just keep watching out, and the more you hatch, the more ridiculous those odds should be.
Yeah.
If you keep hitting females, so maybe it is sex linked, but you never know.
It could be all 5 that have hatched, 5 that I've hatched, and then the one that Dustin hatched are all female. But yeah, that's still not good science right there just yet. Like we need multiple, after we have 100 of them, if all of them are female, we could go, all right, well, we've done the math, because it's just like hitting hets on any of these species, and that with what you're working on with your all your S tier stuff, the ball pythons and the Texas rats.
Yeah.
You could have 2 snakes that are het scaleless, right? And then get an entire clutch of scaleless. Like it's completely possible.
Yes.
Because your percentage odds, your statistics are based per egg, and math doesn't care, right? Genetics don't care about the odds. It is just merely a probability, but you're looking at thousands of different genetic combinations. And John said dimorphic. Yeah, it might be sexually dimorphic. They're already a sexually dimorphic species, and it may be something linked with that. So we'll see. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it. We don't really know. There are striped and essentially close to patternless animals. Amanda Talaba, and I'm so sorry if I said her last name wrong. She has produced a lot of striped animals. She's produced males. The striping in her animals happens more in the the pattern creates the stripe, whereas this is the diffusion of the pattern. John said, same with Mex-Mex. Mex-Mex are sexually dimorphic. Some morphs in corns, like Cinder, are sexually dimorphic. If you have specifically with like hypocinder, if you have a hypocinder male, he's going to have a lot deeper reds. Cinder is also a hypoerythristic morph. It is a kind of reduction in the palette of the reds, but your females, a hypocinder female will have like almost no red at all, whereas a hypocinder male will have quite a bit more red in it. But that's, these animals are, dude, I could do this for 100 years and I'm still not doing what Mother Nature's done for, a million years. It's just, our little limited times in our hobbies, we like to make declarations that we know what's going on. And so many times we're proven wrong. And I think it's kind of striking lightning when we're right. More than anything else, right? Like how many things just haven't panned out, or things you never even heard of, and people are like, oh yeah, I hatched one that looked, perfectly axanthic, right? I know this was an axanthic snake, and they breed it out, and it proves out it's not recessive, it's not polygenic, it's not anything. It's just, I don't know, this is the funky one, and then it's never able to be replicated. And that's kind of one of the neat things about this hobby is you're dealing with life and genetics, and usually it's beyond, it's definitely beyond me, and it's beyond most how a lot of these genetic things actually work and correlate together, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm sure and like you're kind of saying, I'm sure so many genetic things get overlooked all the time, whether it's by, the monster breeders that are just pumping out thousands of snakes a year and they just don't notice, or, just little things that people don't pick up on. But yeah,
sure,
it's crazy.
It's super fun. With that being said, other things that I kind of focused on and moved forward with this year. One of the projects I put a lot of effort into is what I call the Dark Knight, which was a F1, 3 Mile West Alterna. And I sent you a couple pictures of him. And one of the updates on one of the babies he produced initially. Bummer, I slugged out on those. I actually didn't do, and yeah, that's the project. So that's the one of the babies that I have that's grown out, starting to get that really nice dark color, losing a lot of its orange. And then I sent some actual pictures of the Dark Knight male from when I got him.
Yeah.
And what he looks like now, that's a pretty recent picture. That's just insanely badass to me. I love the way that snake looks. So hopefully in a year or two, we'll be pairing him to his daughters that I've held back. That's the other thing about these projects is, man, that was when I got him. So that snake was a 2013, and I got him, I think, in 2022. And he was tiny little dude.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't eat well. But since you can see how much he's grown,
and he still put on all this size, because that's a good amount of size for being like a 10-year-old snake to put on size like that. That's usually tough. They're usually stunted by that point.
Yeah, no, he's 12 years old, and he's solid, man. He's built like a brick shit house too. That snake is pure muscle. He's a great breeder too. But that's awesome. You know what? Do everything right. Have them in the right enclosure. Brumate them correctly, and you'll still get slugs sometimes. That just happens. With this, regardless of success, you're going to have failures. I did pretty bad with Alterna this year. I think I know why. I think it has a lot to do with maybe my feeding regimen with the females. Maybe I might have gotten a little. I wasn't paying it close enough attention. Maybe I wasn't pairing at the right times, and that's simple mistakes like that. I also got a new rack. Let's see here. I put it together in December. I got a big ARS rack. It had been the plan for a long time. I got a 70-40 or a 50-40, hybrid rack, a big 40 slot, and it's badass. ARS makes some killer stuff.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's like the exact size that you want, for Alterna corn snakes. Barred Eye, which we'll talk a little bit about. Barred Eye, that's another project that came to fruition this year. I think that maybe also shifting all of these animals into different enclosures that they've never been in might have put a little shock on them. So now that I'll have them all geared up for next year, and there's always plans. I talked about this on a couple podcasts before. My plans for next year are being made now. I believe that the way that you prepare your animals before brumation is key to success in breeding. Feeding correctly, temperatures, clean enclosures, water regimens, leaving them alone, right? I think leaving them alone is part of it. Opalescent Ophidians asked a good question. They said, did they take that long to grow, or was he just not being fed right? I believe that he was a bad feeder from the get-go and just wasn't being fed much. And a lot of times people keep Alterna too hot and sometimes bug them too much, like mess with them too much. And they kind of can be bad eaters. Not often. I mean, he's a psychopath when he eats. So I think that maybe his original owner hadn't spent a lot of time dedicated to a good feeding regimen with him. And the thing is, when I got him, he was small, but he was still healthy, right? That's not an unhealthy snake. It's just a small snake for that age.
Yeah.
So, and I think that different things can happen. Like you said, some snakes can get stunted. I don't know if necessarily he was stunted. I don't think that's the case. I think it was just had been fed so slow to get him there. But yeah, so that was one of the projects that I missed out on this year. And again, that's going to happen. One of the other projects, I had some wild caught Christmas Mountain Splendida. That was actually the female was found gravid, I believe, if I remember correctly. So she had some eggs last year, and then this year I paired her up with a wild caught male, and I got some F1 Christmas Mountain Splendida that have like a really neat tight pattern. They're really pretty. I got 1.3, 1.4, 1.3. I had really good odds on a lot of the sexes on my animals this year. Like my leucistics were 2.4. Both my black pines that came out healthy are females. So yeah, that was a nice treat. Mexican bear dye. So I have some. I got them from Jerry Salmon. They are Fort Worth Zoo by San Antonio Zoo Nuevo Leon bear dye, and I got a nice clutch of those this year. Those are crazy. Like I think I sent you pictures. Like the picture of the baby compared to the picture of the adults is absolutely wild. So that's the baby, right?
Yeah.
And that looks like the crispiest super pattern Alterna almost ever. And they're big. They came out like, so I produced some obsoleta. I've produced yellow rats and Everglades rats. I guess maybe that's all kind of considered Alligator Hens now. They're like a third this size or something, like half this size. The bears come out big. But yeah, if you snap on the picture of the adult, it's like, it changes so much. That's right. So that's cool. And they're a little bit smaller of a bear dye. They were
I can see that.
They're cool, man. That's just a cool, bear dye are already great. I mean, really, all of the rats are really cool. Obviously, I know you like the Texas rats. They're a different critter. They're a hell of a lot bigger. But these guys are really special, and I hope to see more people working with them, especially when there are a couple different lines out there. So
just the color scheme on these are like are very reminiscent to me of the cadmium Texas rats, just with the more silvery blue head and then the bright body tone. Obviously not the striping per se, but like just color wise, very similar.
That color palette's still there. And bear dye integrated with Texas rats. I don't remember exactly what area. It's like the Freer area, kind of between West Texas and southwest of San Antonio. There's been some integrates found, and I think you can, Mother Nature don't care. These things, they go from line. You got bear dye, you have Texas rats, you have your gray rats, you have your, it all goes in line, and they all have very similar traits, especially with that ontogenic change they go through. And then you have Gulf hammocks that just don't do the same thing as the other ones, which is also kind of cool. But yeah, just the fact that these things come or hatch with so much pattern, and then their heads are just slate gray, right? There's no pattern on that head.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pretty. They're pretty. It's a pretty neat project. So was able to follow through on that. I think it was 1.4 on them also. This is probably a good time to talk about. So if you go, let's look at the next set of rats. So this one right here, this is these came from John Laster. These are Nueces County reverse stripe thorn scrub rats. I've produced these for a few years. Mine clutch from this year actually just hatched. I have a pair that looks about like this, and this is about as good as they get. The one from the wild is a little bit better, and he was found, and so that was Toby Brock that had that snake and started this project. This next animal is a chocolate albino Emery. So when me and John were talking about this project and what we wanted to do, I had an albino Emery, and at the time they had not been split back apart. So you have a Pantherophis emerii milimorum and Pantherophis emerii. So this snake that you're seeing right here, this is emerii. But back 6 years ago or so, when this kind of fell into my hands and these were all babies, they had all been lumped back to emerii, right? And then I think it was 2021. This is a good one with Dr. Loffman. I had gone on Joe Phelan's podcast. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And I had gone on the show before Dr. Loffman, and I had said that they needed to be split. And it was actually brought up in the talk with Joe and Dr. Loffman when Dr. Loffman said one of my favorite quotes is that you cannot beat science without better science. And he was completely right. So somebody a hell of a lot smarter than me about a month later split these snakes back up. and so I pull his leg about as much as I can on that, because somehow I was luckily right. Again, lightning sometimes strikes, because I am not a scientist, and I am not the one to talk to about taxonomy. David Hillis, John, just he was the scientist that split them up.
Yep.
But I have been trying to breed these animals for a while. I've tried to breed the albino and tried to breed this chocolate albino last year. Man, I just didn't get any eggs. And it's kind of weird because Emery have pretty decent sized eggs for the size of the snake, but thorn scrubs have monster eggs. I mean, brother, I'm talking giant. They're they're like chicken eggs. They're huge. The babies come out monster. But if you go to the next picture, this year, this snake laid me exactly 2 eggs. And so now I have the first... And check it out, 2 good eggs. It was a pair. It was a male and a female. And you can see some of the aberrancies happening in this animal already. So these are, I guess we could call them world firsts. These are reverse stripe paired into chocolate albino. So this snake is double het for chocolate, which is a pattern and colored mutation, and albino, which obviously we know albino. I should have sent you a picture of a chocolate. So the chocolate kind of has a twin spot thing that it does. And it's it's a really odd color. They look pink as babies, which kind of interestingly enough, the reverse stripes look a little pink when they're born. They have a different color than regular milimorum. Because I've got my other Aberant McMullen project that I've done, and that proved out. So probably a year or 2 away from being able to take my F1s together for the Aberrants. But yeah, so this is like a super cool project that I'm excited about. I could not have gotten luckier than both of these things being, it's a male and a female. And they shed and ate frozen thawed like that day. This will be the continuation of that, and we'll see. So hopefully these 2 snakes paired back together will, 1, start intensifying that reverse stripe gene, and 2, I may be able to get some albinos, some chocolates, and if I'm real lucky, I'll hit the double visual. And if we're super lucky, we get the triple visual. We'll get something that's a reverse stripe of chocolate and an albino. Now, I don't think that'll happen right off the bat. I think this is going to take multiple generations. This is a 12, 16-year project probably. It's going to take a lot of work, but it started. We did it, and that's the thing I'm always telling people. I don't think there's but 10 people in the world that care about this project. But I think it's going to be really neat, especially the contrast in the albinos. If we can get an albino reverse stripe, I think that'll be something really special. And then we'll find out what the chocolate does with it too. So that's kind of exciting. Those little things, those little micromanaged hobby projects that you get going. And you find little things to keep your passion going. A lot of people talk about the burnout, right? That's a thing. It's really easy to get burnout. It's really easy to become overwhelmed. It's really easy to follow the trends, right? We see that a lot. People like, as a whole, we like certain things. As a whole, the hobby, look at crested geckos or even ball pythons and stuff. And there is definitely a place for that, because that's how the hobby grows, right? You have your things that you need that thing that you can talk to the normal person and say, hey, this is a great animal. This is something you can create your own projects with. But as we mature through this hobby, and after we've been doing it for a long time, it's finding these little things to get you excited about. And this is definitely something I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be excited about this
Definitely.
for a long time. And it's something that I've been talking about this project since like 2019, right? I think I met John in 2018 and maybe got these snakes started the project in 2019 where you start with babies and look, and now it's 2025, right? I've produced reverse stripes for 3 or 4 years now. And I finally got the thing that I was going for from the get-go. And that's, man, let's back that up a little bit. You can't give up. It's not going to happen the first time sometimes. It's not going to happen the second time. It might not happen the third. I've got some Alterna I've been breeding for years. My Christmas Mountains, kind of, I know I'm a little scatterbrained, but my Christmas Mountains, I've bred them 3 years in a row, and 1 year John bred them. And they have given me good eggs every year, 2, 3, 4 good eggs. And I have lost those eggs every year. And I've hatched out Alterna. I've got good Alterna 277 eggs about to hatch. I know how to hatch out Alterna. And every year these eggs go bad. And so what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Well, it'd be really easy to take my 2 insanely beautiful Christmas Mountains that were produced by the Rices, sell them as a proven pair, make probably $1,000, right? They're expensive animals, and say I'm done. But I'm not. I'm gonna figure these things out. I'm gonna find out.
Is it just one pair that you have?
I only have one pair. And the thing is, the eggs are good. They candle with the veins. They're beautiful. They're perfect eggs. And they after about day 45, day 50, they go bad.
Really?
And it's just an interesting thing. Like I said, I'm hatching Alterna Leonis right alongside of them. I don't know. It's just part of the hobby. Something else that's interesting in here is I have a couple of Mexican hognose. So I have a wild caught pair of Boy Scout Road Mexican hognose. Last year I produced a real nice clutch. They're small snakes, right? So you get like 4 or 5 eggs. I think last year I got 5. This year I got 3 and a couple slugs. But I'll be producing those again this year. That was cool. They eat like way easier than I thought they would. Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That's what's up. Just put a little bit of that on. Yeah, get frozen thaw pinky, wash it, put a little Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and they go batshit for it. I don't know why, but it's worked. And it's funny. You get the wild caughts. I got another wild caught this year that actually one of the males I produced. A young girl and her father breed hognose. Bell's Hognose is the name of their their company, and they're from down in Laredo, and we've been shows together. And I had sold them a male, and then my good buddy Austin Bohannon caught another female, and he was like, "Hey man, well now you got 1.2," and I was like, "You know what? I got a great idea. Nobody has Jeff Davis County Mexican hognose locality matched, but I know somebody that is really good with hognose. They're dedicated hognose breeders. They make some beautiful animals." And I was like, I'm just going to give them this wild caught female. She'll be able to breed next year. She's the right size. I was like, but now they can send babies to me. I can send babies to them, and we can kind of outcross a little bit and kind of keep that locality going. And that's something you got to try to do, right? Like, I didn't sell them a wild caught snake. I walked up and gave it to them, and they were like, "What? This is awesome." Sure, I'm not doing it to be altruistic. I straight up told them, I was like, "No. You go breed these things and send me babies now, and I'll send you babies. We'll swap out because we want to diversify that gene pool when nobody's working with them." And hognose are really special animals. The Mexicans, I think, are a little different than the Westerns. I know that they are probably. I think at one point they had been lumped. They had been unlumped. Again, I'm not a taxonomist, but they are unique to me. I see a lot. I have a handful of Westerns. Some of my daughter's favorite snakes. And they act different. Their bodies are a little different. The noses are different. The Mexicans have this kind of little bit more pronounced snout. They're a much smaller snake. They don't get very big. They have a lot more attitude. They have a lot more spunk. They do all of their more natural things. Also, mine are wild caught, so there's probably a reason behind that. They hatch out tiny. They hatch out like half the size of a Western. So yeah, just tough. But they'll eat a pinky, right? Like they're little. They're little
okay.
They're little French bulldogs, dude. They're just tiny, stupid, flat face. Just dumber than rocks, man. But they figure it out. They eat, and mine all ate. I know they don't eat first try, right? You're not going to get that lucky, probably. I think I had one that ate just a frozen thaw pink. But yeah, that's another cool little thing that I'd like to see grow in the hobby. I'd like to see 3-4 people have Mexican hognose, maybe 10 people have Mexican hognose. Maybe in 8 to 10 years, you've got 20 people working with them. And they can kind of enjoy that little uniqueness in the hobby alongside Westerns, right? Like Westerns have gotten so popular. I heard in Daytona there was just hundreds and hundreds of them. I don't know if that's the right number, but they're going the way maybe of the ball python, where you see them all the time. People have them figured out now, right? When we were when we were, I mean, let's go back to like 2002, 2003. I think it's around the same time that the first albino ball python really hit the market, somewhere in that range. People didn't really know how to breed ball pythons. And a lot of in the late 90s, if I remember correctly, like a few people had done it. They were working with wild caught animals. They were $10 at shows. They were covered in mites. They were gross. They were lethargic. And now, tell me if I'm wrong, but it sure sounds like they're pretty damn easy to breed. I think people have them pretty
they're
sorted.
So easy to breed.
Yeah,
you can be pretty dumb and breed ball pythons. It's not that hard. Incubating eggs too. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't tell. You can throw a bucket of water at the eggs and they'll still hatch.
Really? That's awesome.
Not literally, but
yeah, but like figuratively. Yeah, I got you. Like they're solid. But you know, the hobby needs that. John Lasser said it's like corns, dude. I'm pretty sure my corns will breed if I just have them in the same rack and they're not in the same tub. They'll throw sperm from one place to another. But you know, I was corns are a little different because they're seasonal, right? You still want to breed them at the right times. Females usually ovulate once a year. It's usually a pattern. Ball pythons, it sounds like you can kind of breed year round as long as the female is ovulating and really. I think that's cool. I think the hobby needs that. We need these couple things. Anyways, hognose have gone much the way of ball pythons.
Oh yeah.
They have the benefit of ball pythons and the fact that people want them, people have them figured out, people want to breed them, and people have infinite options on what they can do. You know, you can have these insane line bred animals like Kevin Barron's working with, and obviously a lot of the big names. And then, or you can have just a stack morphs, right, where you have 3, 4, 5 visuals, and they honestly look pretty badass. The problem,
I can't believe how quickly hognoses have just overtaken corns in the market. Like the number on physically on morph market, and maybe total. Like it, you know, obviously there's plenty of stuff that doesn't make morph market, but like hognoses are being bred like crazy. But they're more like fecundant too. I think you can make a lot more with a lot less than you even can with corns. And corns you can make a lot of snakes.
You can make a lot of corn snakes. One thing that I would say is maybe a negative draw to them is they have kind of hit that pyramid scheme tactic now, where it's like, oh well, if you buy double heads here and you buy these double heads and they're both conda, you can get a super conda storm cloud. You know, it's like a $3,000, $4,000 snake. Yes, you can. But I wish people weren't looking at the money when they were breeding things. Of course, we have to, right? Like you have to be able to put something back in the piggy bank to feed these things.
Yeah.
And started focusing a little bit more on what they thought was cool. Now, I totally understand when somebody says, hey, I want to get into this project because I believe there's some money in it, right? I have certain corn snakes that I breed every year because I know they sell well, right? And they're not even like corn snakes that I like too much. Like I have my super salmon snows, Tetras, right? Which is just like a super pink corn snake, and they're beautiful. I don't love snows that much. It's not something I'm very passionate about. My daughter likes them. That's cool. And I'll keep breeding them, but dude, they sell like hotcakes, right? Like they eat easy. People love them. Little young ladies getting into the hobby love a pink snake. Young men like a pink snake. It's neat. It's verifiably unnatural, right? It's like the scaleless. It has this factor to it. It has this wow factor. Like, yo, I have a bright pink snake that's so pink the yellows look green, right? How cool is that? I have a scaleless snake, right? Like I have, there's a wow factor where you create this uniqueness within your own collection, and that's cool. That's neat too. I'm not gonna sit here and poo-poo on anything. There's people out there that deserve to be poo-pooed on, right? Getting bit by venomous snakes because they're being idiots.
Yeah.
Or free handling stuff they shouldn't be free handling without any information on how to do it right, or going way out of their way to sell snakes that are sick or are known flawed. You'll see people selling morts that like you probably shouldn't, right? Or say, oh no, you can breed those together. Half of them die, but it's whatever. So or people like knowledgeably, this just happened. So people knowledgeably selling snakes in their collections that have viruses. A big thing in the carpet community is a person who I'm not going to name has been selling snakes left and right. He's a flipper. He doesn't breed anything on his own. And a guy just found out that he has Nido, and he's like, yeah, all my carpets came from this guy. Those are the only pythons I have. They all have Nido. And it's like, well, I bet he knows. I bet he doesn't care. But the neat thing about this hobby and the neat thing about maybe just the human species is we weed these people out usually. They are, I've talked with Justin about this. Sometimes it's the stars that shine the brightest burn out first. And I think you'll see that, or people that really create waves in the hobby through negative aspects. You'll find one of two things. One, they burn out, or they're kind of kicked out. Not kicked out. You can't kick somebody out of the reptile hobby. You breed reptiles, but you will find that these people also mature and change and become better humans. And it's because of the vibe of everybody around them. The idea, some of the toxicity leaves. I'm probably guilty of that myself. I was a young 20-year-old breeding geckos, and I was a giant piece of shit, right? And I remember that. And I think if my me at 40 talking to me at 22, 23 would have been a really, really hard conversation. Probably would have gotten really upset with myself, and I should have. But that's it, right? Like we mature, we change. Same thing as our collections. Like I was saying earlier, things shift. We purge our collection of things. I've gotten rid of most of my California king snakes. It's not because I don't love California king snakes. California king snakes are great, but as I've worked with them, I've realized that that's not something I want to spend a lot of time with. I still have my conjuncta, so I have a pair of Ciudad insurgensis, which is a Baja locality of California king snakes, which also didn't go this year after breeding, which pissed me off after breeding for 4 years in a row. But they're special. They're special to me. They're a Gary Sipperly line. I got them from John Lasseter. Again, his name's going to come up a million times, Church Lasseter. But all the other California king snakes, I had some really neat localities from some great people. Sometimes you fall out of love with them, and that's okay. Admit it, right? Yeah. It's I bred gargoyle geckos for 15 years, or somewhere around it, maybe even more. Gargoyle geckos paid for every animal in my collection.
That's awesome.
I with what my current iteration of reptiles is, I started with a group of gargoyles and created a bank account just for reptiles and have never spent a penny outside of that bank account on anything. So everything came from that. That was 8, maybe 15, 16 years ago where that all started, when I really started deciding that I wanted to do this. Did it take a long time to get to the collection I have now? Yes, of course. Was I patient all the time? No. But I don't have any gargoyle geckos anymore. And that's not because I don't love them. It's just something that that was gonna, it eventually, maybe I overproduced them. There were years where I produced 100 of them. And then you're batch selling them and they're going overseas. A lot of stuff goes to Taiwan. A lot of stuff goes to China. I still produce lychees. I hatched a lychee this morning, actually. So nice. they're still going, but that's probably stuff that I'm going to get completely out of. Is just I'm not going to have any more Pangea. Not going to have anything else that has that requires Pangea. I'm lucky though. My brother, I call him my brother. He's not really my brother. I grew up with him and lived with him for a long time. He breeds Chihuahua, lychees, gargoyles, cresteds. Oh, yeah. He's got lily white axanthics. He's got the coolest stuff. And I get to see that stuff, and I could have it. I could have it right now. I could have a $2,000 gecko tonight if I drove over to his house. He just give it to me. And same thing here. If anything I produce he wanted, he just take it. It's his. So maybe I'm a little jaded in that. Opalessa Affinia says, do either of y'all have pet specific animals, like a snake that you love the way much to ever breed? I do. So last year I really hot. So summers are really hot here, especially July, August. August is pretty unbearable. I walked out on my back patio with my dog, taking him outside, and there was a little checkered garter snake just sitting on the patio. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was gonna die. That little checkered garter wasn't gonna make it. He was you could feel his spine through his belly.
Oh,
he was maybe 8, 10 inches long. Probably a yearling right at that point. They're tiny when they hatch. So he was hungry. He was hot. I brought him in. Now this dude is my trash can, and he has this cool little display enclosure. And it's so cool when I go in the room. He comes out and he pokes his nose out, and hey, you're gonna feed me? You're gonna give me water? Or are you gonna, he's a really interactive little snake. I don't have any intentions of ever breeding him. He's a pet. He is, and so this is another thing. I'm not a scientist, but whenever I'm feeding babies, I give them pinkies, right? So I might be thawing out 50, 60, 100 pinkies at a time. Well, not all those babies are going to eat. I don't care if that baby's ate every time. Sometimes it's not going to eat. Maybe it was in shed. Maybe I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Maybe I shoved a lizard tail up its ass after I washed it with dirt or something to try to get alternative. It still doesn't eat. Well, all of those pinkies that night will go into a cup, and they go to my garter snake, and he eats every single one of them, right? He's just so stoked. And it's like he knows. He sees me coming. He sees me opening the enclosure. He comes flying out. He's looking up at me, and I set the little cup down, and he goes through him. So he's my little trash. He's a fat little snake now too. He's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a pet, and I don't want to get rid of him. He's really, really neat. So yeah, there's stuff like that happens in the hobby, and I think that's part of being passionate about the hobby. You find these fun little things. You find your own game to play within the hobby, and it might be something like that. It might be something else. I don't know.
For me, opalescent, my real only pet only snake is my first snake that's turning. No, she's 15 this year. She bred for me twice in the past years ago. But now she just hangs out here, and she'll be a pet till she's gone. So she's 15, however long left she's got. She's still vigorous when she eats. So I think she's got years left. We'll see. I'm actually very curious to see how long she goes.
I have a corn snake. His name's Mac. I don't know why I named him Mac. I just named him Mac. And he's a Ultramel Tessera Motley.
Oh, hold on.
We good?
You back?
Yeah.
Okay. You cut out a bunch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know what you said there. You said the morphs, and then that was the last thing I heard.
Oh yeah, he's got a cool combination of morphs, and I believe he has buff in him. But when I got him, so he fathered my first clutch of corn snakes. So I haven't been breeding snakes nearly as long as I've been breeding geckos. I think I'm close to 10 years. I'm at 9 or 10 years breeding snakes. So he fathered my first clutch. When I got him, he was 11 years old. So he's an old boy. He's got to be like 20. But dude, he's fine. The snake is fine. I don't want him to end up dying, but he doesn't breed anymore. He's started a lot of projects. That project, and you can just, I want to show you some pictures of some corn snakes real quick. So I bred him to an anery stripe female that she may have had the buff. Might have happened somewhere. They fathered this cool anery stripe, and it was like what we call vanishing stripe, which is not a morph into itself. The only morph that is visual is stripe. And I called it my Yellowhead project. We really didn't know what was going on. I talked to Tony Dungara. Not that one. Let's see here. Close that one. That's a cool. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. That guy right there. So this guy right here, when I hatched this guy, he was blue. And I got some pictures. It was really neat. I remember I posted him up, and I had people offering me all this money for him. And I was like, no, I'm going to hang on to him. I want to see what he looks like when he gets older. He's not blue. In fact, he's kind of a weird brown color. But this snake kicked off this project. So he ended up breeding back to his mom, producing a snow with the same buff trait. And then he was either Ultra or Amel, which is an allelic combination. Yep. So Ultra is a recessive trait. Amel is a recessive trait. They happen on the same locus, so you can get a combination of the two, which is Ultramel. So what I finally ended up doing with him, going back to his sister daughter, was I produced the Ultramel version. He's also got hypo in this line too. So I've produced a few ghosts, but 2 years ago, and you snap out of him, you'll be able to see this guy. That one right there.
This one?
So this is the combo wombo. So this is the buff, the hypo, the Ultramel, the stripe. This is everything going on. and I should have gotten a more recent picture. This guy is, he's looking killer. So he will eventually go back to the female. And I've got a couple females I've held back. Now, world of corn snakes, this is not this is not the coolest corn snake in the world. I did kind of poo-poo on pink snakes while I was sitting here talking about being in love with this pink snake. But I think what's going to end up happening once these snakes are all adults, they lose all that pattern, right?
Yeah.
I think this is going to be very unique in the corn snake community. I should have these like kind of cool patternless, looks like they're dipped in gold snakes. So that's one of the projects we're working on. And I've got a clutch of 12 eggs that should hatch probably within the next week, furthering on this project. So very hopefully nice. I'll be able to start. That'll be the 4th generation in my collection. Once this guy pairs to his sister, that'll be the 4th generation. And it takes time. Corn snakes are a little easier. They go pretty quick. This is another project I did with corn. So you can look at the other two. So this is a Carol Huddleston line. I got this from JT over at Silent Hill. This is what's called a zombie motley. They call them zombie motleys because the heads on them when they hatch kind of look dead. And this is a combination of two things. It's het cinder, which cinder has a visual het, and it's a Miami. So this guy paired to this really sharp ultramel, or not ultramel, excuse me, extreme reverse Okatee, which will be the girl in the next picture. So what these snakes should produce should be all normals, but they should be somewhat Miami Okatees, which Miami Okatees just look killer. So they'll have that kind of light coloration with deep black on the saddles. Here, snap over to her picture. You'll see the
of my 2 corn snakes. One of them is both Miami and Miami Hypo Motley. I have.
Okay, cool.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah,
I love that snake.
So I'm plugging the zombie line into this, and the goal is to just see where it goes. Hopefully I'm going to produce a bunch of normals. And I'm like super excited about these normals. And of course I was like, yeah, this will just be a small clutch. The male's small, maybe I get 6 to 8 eggs and that'll be good. I'll hold a few back. And then I got 14 eggs because that's the exact number you're supposed to get when you have a bunch of normals. But that's cool, right? Like you still find enjoyment in these corn snakes that are, I'm about to hatch a bunch of $50 snakes and I'm stoked on it. And that's just okay.
Powerful hets. That's what it's about.
Lots of powerful heads. And really what I want to draw out of this is the phenotype, right? Like I want to see some Miami Okatee stuff that looks good, that when paired together will have everything in it. Hopefully I'll be able to identify the het cinders. I'll have Amel, cinder, motley. Now motley kind of offsets with the Okatee, but I'd like to see that deep red color. And then we have that zombie line thing going on. So that's just another one of those. It's just like fun, man. That's just like nice. Super cool. Kind of going back, talking about you had said what things have changed since 23. You exit out of this, and I'll show you one other project. Yeah. So I want those are just some pretty leonis. Oh, scroll. Ooh, look at that Splendida though, right? Look at that. That's an F1 Christmas Mountain Desert King snake, and brother, that thing is as crispy as they get. That's a
that's a nice one.
Yeah, those things are cool. They all ate off the rip too. Produced 1.4. Kind of wanted to have a couple more males, but go up a little bit. So I was able this year to get some that one right there, the red one. So this is a Vertebrates, but this is like an old striped line of Vertebrates. So this is a line bred trait. And these guys they're pretty damn hard to find. And I was able to pick up 1.2 of the stripes this year. So that'll go in. I'll have 3.3 on the Vertebrates. And I'm going to do my best to work with Vertebrates as much as I can. That's a special species. This snake's a female. She's probably big enough to breed. She's not old enough. Mine bred at, I think it was 6 years. It might have been 5 years. But they require time. They require patience. They're low and slow. And I think that's why they're not very popular in the hobby. You just don't see anybody that really has them. There are some people that do have them. And they do pop up on clutches, but man, they never took off. And it's like a tiny little Pituophis, right? Like these things are like 3.5 foot as adults.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never really, in talking to more people who have them, I've never understood the lack of the more low key Pituophis species in the hobby.
Yeah.
Like, and most of that being the gophers, honestly.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of people working with them.
I would say, you know, Jani, when I kind of came into it and was getting my Jani to start with, and I guess I've got 4.4 of them, 3.3, and then plus whatever I'm going to hold back this year. They were not popular. Like, I had to look for them. Now they're getting insanely popular. And when I post clutches and stuff, I have people instantly message me, "Oh man, yeah, I've been looking for a pair of those."
Yeah, I'm not
there
surprised.
There was a guy recently that did a YouTube video on them, and he's the guy that and goodness, I
Steven did.
Yeah,
Steven Kush. Yeah.
And I, you know, he has some stunning animals. He has some of those the really high contrast deep orange ones.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a male from one of those lines that I'm going to be plugging into my Aberant stuff to see what that does.
Nice.
But a huge shout out to him. I've been talking about these things for like 8 years. And, you know, it's not that they don't sell, but now I've got people that are like, "Oh man, yeah, those are just like, that's that same species, right?" And I'm like, yeah. You can go listen to my Colubrid and Colubroid radio episode. You can go back to Joe Phelan when I was talking about stuff. All my THN, I was always talking about Jani. It's my favorite species. So stoked to be able to, like, they're great. They are great animals. And everybody I know that has them loves them. Everybody loves them. I don't think I've ever heard of somebody that was just like, "Jani ain't it," you know. John will probably pop in here and tell us that they're not king snakes and they're you know, they're not as good as king snakes, and maybe not. But they're really special. Man, so much stuff that comes from Mexico is just great. They're wonderful. This year I was able to get a trio of Pituophis depii, so the Durango mountain pine snake. I got a 1.1 of het hypos because there's actual visual hypo, and I was able to pick up a female hypo. So dude, you know what? They're just like Jani, just a little bit shittier, right? Like they don't like you as much. Jani are usually pretty chill. They're a little squirmy as babies, I would think. The depii are a little require a little bit more softer hand. They'll hiss. They'll kind of posture up. They'll fuss at you a little bit. They'll even nip at you a little bit, which is fine, right? Baby Pituophis are usually dirtbags. So, you know, I may have gotten those towards the end of last year. I don't remember, but they're wonderful snakes. I got them end of last year. They're 24s. I got Bimaris last year also, which I have. They're at a buddy's house. He hasn't shipped them yet. But I was able to get a pair of the Pituophis Bimaris, which I don't know the normal name on them. They're also a Baja. I think they're just a Baja gopher snake. They're not the Cape Baja gopher. They're the ones that happen from about the second, third down of the Baja Peninsula and up to the California border before it becomes Anectens. So that becomes the San Diego gopher snake.
Gotcha.
If I remember correctly, they don't integrate, but the Bimaris do integrate with the Vertebrates, and they're in that same realm. They're a smaller snake, but what the interesting thing about them is why I think they maybe have more of the Pituophis catenifer anectens in them is they go through a pretty aggressive ontogenic change, whereas the Vertebrates don't. Vertebrates kind of look like they do when they hatch, and that's it. Most Pituophis really go through a cool color change. Some of the bulls don't. Some of the Sonorans don't. So Sonorans really get just prettier. They're cool. But yeah, that's one of the some of the stuff that's happening as far as new stuff. I've upped my intake on cave geckos. I know that you don't really talk about geckos, but
no, I think the cave geckos are cool. I've seen you've collected more.
Yeah, I produced Bauwangliensis, Ogoniorosaurus Bauwangliensis for the first time towards the end of last year. Towards the end of the breeding season last year, then I gave them a nice little cool, and I've hatched out 8, 10 of those. The Hyanensis I still produce a ton of. They're pretty easy. I've got them pretty sorted, but they're a great. It's a gecko that stays at 75 degrees. And
I was gonna say they're like geckos that you keep like Asian rat snakes, basically, right?
They're from that same area, right? So the Hyanensis, I believe it's the Hainan Island. That's southeast China, and that's like where rhino rats come from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've got A-tier snakes, you've got to have A-tier geckos, right? And the Goniorosaurus complex, it's a big complex. There's some really neat species in there. There's the Arianus.
There's a lot.
Yeah, they got the big ones. And you got the Japanese ones, the Yamashime and the Orientalis. There's a couple that aren't even in the hobby. There's like a starry night one that has like speckles all over it. And then there's some that are kind of in that Hyanensis group, the Louis, and I forget there's another one that kind of all look the same. But yeah, and that's another, I've bred cave geckos for 15 years or so, and I've sold my entire cave gecko collection like 3 times, and I keep getting them back because I'm just like, dude, they're so easy, they're so fun. The babies are a hoot, right? They scream and run, and they go through a neat color. I guess I like stuff that goes through monogenic color changes. It's like some of the best stuff just does. So that's another thing that I feel like I did really well with this year, which is kind of just exciting, right? Like it's super fun to like really try to lock something in, figure it out, and then consistently do it. I'm really proud of my Vertebralis group and how well they've done and how consistent I've bred them. I talked about it in 23 that what I really thought kicked off the Vertebralis breeding was cohabbing them. So I cohab them year round. I brumate them together. They're like the only snakes I have that stay together. They like intertwine with each other when they coil up under their hides, and I've got multiple hides.
Honestly, and I've mentioned it briefly a few times, but like I have no problem keeping adult Texas rats together, like full time, and I do it. And in fact, and I've mentioned it on here, and I've talked to Montross about it because I was curious because I know he does it sometimes too. But if I feed them, and this is for even cockeye too, I've noticed it. If I feed them and they're together, obviously monitored feeding, making sure they're not eating each other, afterwards they'll start exhibiting breeding behavior. I'll see the male will start twitching. I'm like, interesting. I've seen cockeye lock 20 minutes after a meal. I'm like, okay,
that's crazy.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, just a lot of these species, obviously, be careful about it. But
monitor your stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to do. Not that I'm always advocating under all circumstances, but I think if you know what you're doing, you can cohab efficiently. And be more than okay. And I like keeping my Texas rats together. Feeding time sucks sometimes, but I just watch them and I gotta get through it. But they're really cool. I've been keeping one pair together, and they do exactly what you said. They coil together under their hide and they chill. When food comes out, I try to put them at different size of the of the the tub there. But yeah, I'm probably gonna brumate pairs that I want together, or even trios. I'm probably gonna brumate all together and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, and you're completely right. Monitoring these animals is the way it is. I think that if you're cohabbing, you want to go to a larger enclosure. Give them the space if they don't want to be next to each other. Multiple hides.
Yes.
Give them options. Our Lord and Savior John Lasseter will tell you right off the bat. Give your snake options. Right. You don't know what they want at that very moment. For the Vertebralis, it's cool. They're a cold temperature species, right? It's like 78 degrees. Sometimes my room is just 78 degrees. It's 104 outside. Brother, what do you want me to do? And so they just chill. And, a lot of times that heat tape doesn't even come on in the winter. I'm not worried about it. They brumate down to 50, 55 degrees. No problem. Back that up a little bit, Joe. Sometimes things happen. So this year, I cohab a lot of my corns when I brumate them because it's easier. I have to send one tub to John's house, not 2. And this year, I had a really cool pair of their Cleveland Foothills, North Carolina locality corn snakes. Dude, they were cohabbed since I got them when they were wiggle worms. I have kept this pair of snakes together until they were adults. They were 4 years old, and I brumated them together in the same tub. And John called me up. He's like, dude, I think snakes can die in brumation. This is the thing that happens. And he was like, this is weird. Like, this snake's not like hard as a rock. It hasn't hit like some kind of whatever. When stuff dies, it gets all like stiff. And he's like, I don't think it died in brumation. So we get him out, and the male had bitten, constricted, and started swallowing the female. You could actually see about 8 inches of the snake that he had taken down. You could actually see where it was crushed. It's a corn snake, dude. Right?
Like both full-grown adults.
Full-grown adults, same size. I mean, these are within, I bet, 30 grams of each other, right? And I kid you not, I have fed these snakes together. I have cohabbed them since day one. These animals are stupid animals. That stuff can happen.
Yeah.
It was crushing, man. I was so pissed. I gave the mail away. I posted them up on Facebook Market or somewhere on Facebook locally, and I was all free mail corn snake. Just get him. And I was like, God, I needed him out my house. I was so mad, which sucks because it's a really special locality. It's not one that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to get a female, raise her up, do it all again. Not that I don't love them, but I've got 100 and something snakes. I just didn't need to do it again. But you know what? We need to stop and tell each other that these things happen. These failures happen. People don't focus on those failures enough. I don't think there was a thing that I did wrong. I definitely know John didn't do anything wrong. It's just a thing that can happen, right? These are not smart animals. They're not friendly. They don't care about each other. We cannot anthropomorphize these things.
Yeah.
I sit there and I talk to my garter snake, right? Like, so what? How stupid am I? But yeah, that's just part of it. And does it suck? Yes. I've talked about this on other podcasts. People have to know that this is a risk you're going to take. The same thing can happen when pairing snakes. Go pair up those California king snakes, brother. Just throw them in a tub together. See what happens, right? John always told me, feed them and then pair them. Feed them and then pair them. Feed them and then pair them.
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye on some of these species. I know somebody that lost an Alterna. They had them paired up, and female, I think it was a female, ate the male. It's something that can happen. And Alternas don't do that. They're not really ophiliophagous. They're not known for eating other snakes. I've never even thought that would be a problem with my Alterna, but it can happen. What else? What else has found its way into the collection since 2023? Rob Stone sent me a killer pair or 2 killer pairs of some Alterna. I have some Christmas Mountains and some Black Gaps. The Black Gaps are really cool. The male's like full on chaos, like super diffused, has all the chaos gene going on in it. The female's pretty textbook, kind of that nice dark, almost blue color with that beautiful orange stippled in there. I don't have any Asian rats anymore. I don't know if I still did then. I bred.
I don't think you did.
I think I might have been around 23 when I got rid of them. I bred Othriophis for years. The Taniera, the Chinese beauties, and I loved them. They were cool. They're great snakes. Any of the Asian rats are great. I had some. I had some ladder rats and some Zetula, the leopard rat. I had some of that stuff. And then I moved a lot of that stuff over to Billy Hunt. He's really into the Asian stuff. I do like the Asian stuff. There's a little bit of me. I've made a lot more room this year. I sold off some adults, some corn snakes. I moved on some other projects. My daughter all but completely got out of leopard geckos, so the whole leopard gecko collection, with the exception of my favorite pair, is gone. So I have I have more room than I need right now, and so some of the Asian stuff is always on my mind, especially with the cave geckos. I'd like to get something from that same area, maybe rhino rats someday. I think I know enough people with the rhino rats, and they won't shut the fuck up about them.
Yes, you do.
I might as well try them.
You gotta. You won't. What I can tell you is that you will not regret it.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of pulling the trigger. You won't regret it once you have them.
The Baron eye really tickle my fancy too. They kind of have a little bit of a Pitiophis thing going on. They have a little bit of a keeled scale. It's a big hardy snake. They could probably kill me. So there's that. Right.
Oh,
that and I'm pretty allergic to a lot of bees and fire ants and stuff. So I may not mess with them. So maybe rhino rats end up finding their way here someday. Not right now. I'm in a really good spot. I have a few projects that I'm going to be able to kick off next year. I've got a lot of Leonis that I paired up this year. I didn't do.
Yeah,
really
we didn't talk about those.
Yeah. These two that I sent you pictures of, this are from the same clutch, and the adults are both what we would call Leonis phase. It's a Jonel Lopez line that I got from Glenn Brooks. I think Glenn Brooks. Yeah, and then the female is a. Look at that, dude! Look at that. That's a beautiful snake.
I gotta say, you guys, all the Lamprepeltis guys who have come on here have really semi-convinced me that if I were to get into any of them, I think it would be Leonis. So no one should be surprised if I get any down the line.
I had 9. So every line is a little different when it comes to feeding. And the neat thing about this line is neither one of them is milk snake phase, and this is a pretty crispy milk snake phase. That's a really pretty snake. So the female in this pairing is a vivid line. So it's OG Tim Gebhardt. I got it from a gentleman named Tom Jensen, and he only had a pair of them, right? And so I bought 2 females from him. This is years ago, and we're pretty sure that this is actually from the vivid line stuff that John Lasseter originally worked with, that he got from Tim Gebhardt. So these have really deep lineage. You've got the Jonel Lopez stuff and the Tim Gebhardt vivid line stuff. But dude, this clutch is just that dichotomy and pattern and coloration right there is just so cool. But check this out. So I got 9 good eggs, all 9 hatch. One of them had a pretty bad kink. That happens. 7 out of 9 ate frozen thawed first try. The others ate boiled first try. So all 9 have eaten some of them multiple times. So Leonis are a little easier than Alterna. I won't have those odds with my Alterna that are about to hatch. But every line's a little different. I think that's one of the things that people confuse with the Mexicana complex stuff is they're like, oh, well, they're all bad feeders. That's not completely true. Like with this stuff, and I've kind of maybe noticed because I've produced vivid line stuff for years. The vivid line stuff seems to be pretty damn easy to get eating. I've really nailed down how I take care of the babies. Small pencil tubs, lots of aspen. I put a paper towel on the top, so it's like they're always under something. I feed at a specific time, right when the sun's going down. And John said, some are tough, some aren't. Some I've heard some of the bloaty stuff is a little more difficult. But we have your options ready when you breed them. You're gonna want to have your gamut of things in the freezer, anywhere from different kinds of lizards to different kinds of scents. I'm a big fan of the Reptilinks juices. I've had those. I've heard people have 0 success with them, and sometimes I have great success with it. I got a hungry garter snake, right? So I'm willing to try anything. It's being prepared. How well have you prepared yourself to produce to feed those babies? People bitch about Alterna all the time. I get almost every Alterna I hatch to eat. Maybe I have one every year that just doesn't do it. Sometimes you put them into brumation, they come out and they eat. Sometimes it's as simple as boiling. Sometimes it's as simple as braining. Sometimes it's as simple as live. Sometimes it's just a frozen adult pinky, right? Like sometimes 7 Leonis eat frozen adult pinkies day 1. So if you go into it with that level of appreciation for the animals, kind of knowing what you need to prepare yourself for, I think you're going to find success. People are always talking about how hard stuff is to get feeding, and I agree. Yes, this is difficult, but that creates a
once.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say once, in your experience, once they really turn on to food, or do they hit it hard?
Yeah.
Are they good feeders?
Yeah. Usually. Maybe let's say I got some that ate boiled. That's what they ate. So I'll feed them boiled 3-4 times, right? I'm not in any rush to sell these things. I'll if people know, I'll sell them and say, hey, these only eat boiled or these only eat live. But after a couple feedings, it doesn't matter. They feed like savage little king snakes usually.
Yeah.
There's going to be outliers. I think there's outliers in every species. What was it? I had something that one of the Pitiophis, it might have been a black pine. I had a black pine. That dude, it wouldn't eat. It straight up wouldn't eat. It was not going to eat. I got down to the point, which I've moved on from this, where I was force feeding it, right? Like I was opening its mouth, putting a pinky in. That's the only way it would eat. And dude, it just never turned on. And that snake died, which is tough, right? Like losing a black pine sucks, right? Like that's a quarter of your mortgage a lot of times, but it's part of it. I also don't want to sell that snake, right? Like,
yeah, weird stuff. I had it once too. I had a scaleless leucistic Texas rat 2 years ago, back when I produced a bunch of those animals. Took its first meal after coming out of the egg, then would not eat for like 2 months. So by then, I would have preferred it not even take that first meal.
So that metabolism hadn't kicked off. Yeah.
Yes, I know once they take that first meal, the metabolism goes and the calories start burning. I'm like, shit, and it gets worse every week. Then randomly one day I go in with tongs because I feed everything off tongs. Almost all my animals eat off tongs, so I just do it. I don't have a big enough collection. One day I just go in and it just takes it. I'm like, you asshole, you gave me all this stress just for you to just eat on one random day, and then it did fine all the way after that. I'm like, okay, a little behind.
I had a little thorn scrub, one of the reverse stripes. It wouldn't eat, and dude, they eat mice, right? They're mouse eaters, right? They're rodent eaters, and it wouldn't eat frozen thawed. It wouldn't eat brained live. It wouldn't do live. Wouldn't do boiled. Dude, this snake was not out. It was not gonna eat. The motherfucker ate a live rosy goldfish. That's what I tried. I don't know why. I think I was listening to somebody talk about rhino rats. Justin and his Infinite.
Yeah.
This is 3-4 years ago. I was like, dude, I'm gonna try a rosy goldfish. I'm gonna run up to PetSmart and grab one. And then, dude, it ate it. And then I was like, all right, let's do this again. A week later, I bought a rosy. It ate it. And then so what I did was, I think I fed it 2 or 3 times on a little live goldfish, and I put a frozen thawed pinky in the water bowl, and it ate it. And I was like, then eventually, it took off tongs or something. And once it started eating, it was eating. But there's these little things you got to do. And when you produce, I think I'm going to be right over 100 snakes this year. I was probably a little under 100 snakes last year. Year before that, I had overdone it. I had that COVID thing going where I was like, I'm going to produce everything because everything sells. And I produced like 230 snakes, and I was ready to sell the collection, dude. That was too many babies. And at the time, I was like, I had just kicked off leopard geckos. So I probably produced 30 leopard geckos. I was not breeding cave geckos at the time. And then what else? I think I still had guards, so I was pooping out 20 guards a year. And dude, it was, oh my god. My reptile room is right next to our kitchen, and I do not close my door. A lot of people talk about closing the door, putting a suite. My door's open all the time. And people are like, well, what do you do about the smell? It don't smell. That's it. My collection doesn't smell. I clean a lot. I'm meticulous with what I do. I don't have dingy water bowls. Every day I'm in there. I check almost every snake. Maybe not every snake every day, but I check them enough where I know what's going on. I know their patterns, especially, some of these snakes I've had for 10, 11 years, more than that. I know what they're going to do. And dude, I could not maintain the smell in the room that year. It was so many babies. But you got to learn your limits. How do you know what you're capable of if you don't try it? Maybe we can.
Absolutely.
You're right. Like you can predeterminately probably come up with some kind of a hypothesis as to what you're going to be able to do. Right. Like I know my limits, and I really wanted to push it. Well, I did, and it was mostly like corn snakes too. Luckily, you can always wholesale. You can sometimes wholesale, and that's just a way to be able to move on. And that's something you just got to realize. Next year I'd like to be right around that 100 number, maybe a little over. Let's see where these like Aberant Jani go. I already know this is one thing that's tough with the Aberant Jani is like this project. I've got to see it through to the end. I've got to get to the point to where let's find out if we produce males. Let's take this one that's almost patterned. Let's grow it up. Let's pair it back to its dad. Let's pair it to its brother. and then, but what does that mean for my collection? Well, I've got to make space because these aren't corn snakes. These are, these are 5 foot big boy Pituophis eating small rats.
Yeah.
So I know, and I've already kind of reached out to a couple of people. There's snakes that I know I'm going to have to get rid of that I love. But if I want to see this through and see where this is going to go, you've got to be able to make those sacrifices. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? Like I don't have a facility. I don't do this full time. I was never really good at much, but I found out I like to think I'm a good dad. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to try to knock that out of the park. I'm going to be a good husband, a good friend. And I want to be able to have other hobbies. I play Warhammer. I paint models. People always talk about me painting my snakes because I always have paint shit below me. I want to be able to do that stuff. I want to go be able to have beers in the garage with John and hang out with my buddies and smoke cigars and go to Daytona. And dude, if you have 500, 600, 700 snakes, it's not easy.
Oh yeah.
You have geckos, lizards. Lizards take a lot more work than snakes.
Oh yes.
They have higher metabolisms. They're dirtier. They poop a lot more. They're eating bugs. You have to maintain the bugs. I'm a proponent of like gut loading my feeders and stuff. So you really have to find those limits. And I think I have. And that's a special thing. Things have gotten easier with my daughter getting older. She's about to be 9. So she helps. She helps less than she used to because she's interested in other things. We got the Boo Boo Life dog. We out here, baby. Got Serenity on lock. But yeah, it's so cool to just get to grow up with it, make these lifelong connections, create families that are just full of love. See people having kids and those kids growing up and sometimes getting into the hobby. Dr. Loftman talking about going out and herping with his son and him finding lifers and just being all stoked about it. Clint Bartley talking about being with his boys. Same thing going on. They're out there helping in the reptile room. I think Dr. Loftman talks a lot about his kid going in there and getting attacked by these savage Getula that he's got because he likes murder snakes. Which huge shout out. I'm absolutely crushing Florida Kings today. That's what we're doing. We got them piss missiles on lock.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool, man. It's fun. It's what a damn fun thing we found ourselves in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to what you were kind of saying, like next year, if all goes to plan, next year should be my biggest year, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, and I time manage and all that stuff. So we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully, if all the Texas rats go that I want to go, it's going to be a large year. Plus ball pythons, I got plenty of those, and the Asian rats too. So yeah,
it's gonna be cool. You're young. Don't overdo it though. Keep your social life going.
For sure.
Keep those friendships tight. You don't want to get in that position where you get out of work. And actually, I don't know if you work, but get out of a job.
I live on my own, buddy. I gotta pay rent.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I don't want to get to the point to where I can't get out of work and go for a jog or lift some weights, right? Or spend some time in the pub and sit down and help my kid with her homework, or have family game night, right? Or go on a date with my wife. Like you can find yourself really eating up your free time because you think you get a mindset. Hey, if I produce all these snakes, I'm going to make a lot of money this year. If I make a lot of money this year, the next step is this, and I can get this added to my collection. And it's a snowball, and you slowly find yourself divorcing yourself from reality. We talk about having FOMO from not being at Daytona. You'll do the same thing with looking at social media. Man, this guy just hatched out these things. I need to get those too. Dude, I want to do that. Or I remember when you started, we talked about. I told you were going to have success. I told you had the drive, you had the attitude. You're young. You were going to be able to do it, and you did. But you're going to see people out there that are doing better, right? And then maybe it's time in. Maybe they just something clicked with them, and you'll have this idea, that little bit of FOMO, like why am I not there yet? And you're going to get there, but also don't let it consume you. And who am I to give
100%.
life advice? But that's kind of to anybody. Don't let anything consume you to the point of it inhibiting your life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even I know, like, just where I'm at with my collection right now and spending my, like you're talking about that FOMO. It's like, as much as I want to add more animals or different species. It's like I shouldn't and I can't go above what I have currently in my current setup right now. I know I cannot do it, and therefore I should not do it. So I have to chill and let things play out the way I've fostered this collection, and now it's got to play out and actually come to fruition. So
and don't recognizing those limitations is great. So many people don't. And finding projects, especially like a lot of the Asian stuff that you're starting out with, some of that's longer time, right? Like rhino rats don't. Actually, it does actually sound like they breed pretty easily, for what it's worth.
Apparently, yeah. It seems like you kind of
keep them together
a bit, yeah.
But, some of the stuff,
you get up to size.
Some of the stuff that starts being a little bit tougher and maybe a little bit more unique. But get ready for those heartbreaks too. I've seen people spend $1,000 on a snake, and it, you get nowhere from it, and it just doesn't make it, or it dies, or it never breeds, or I was there with my leucistic Fortipines. When I bought my leucistics, maybe 6 years ago or so, I was really like, that was a big investment. You know what I mean? They're not cheap animals. Hell, when I got into leeches, right? Like when I bought into my leeches, I bought a subadult pair, and they were $1,000, $1,200 animals a piece, and you still got to raise them up, and they take a while to get to size. And now it's kind of weird to see that evolution. Like I'm selling my last pair of leeches, and they're STG granites, and I've already got a down payment on them from somebody, and it's a nice number. But when those geckos hit the market, they were $5,000 to $7,000 geckos. And for me, being able to get those into my collection and raise them up, actually, my brother bred this pair for a while, and then I brought them back, and they've been breeding for me, and that's cool. And like I said, I've got babies hatching today. But that's a door that I'm going to close. And it's kind of funny. You sit there and go, well, dude, once leeches are bonded, they're like, other than the fact that they are disgusting, filthy animals, they shit like a toddler daily. But they're super easy, right? Like they're just gonna breed, right? Like they're gonna give you eggs. The eggs, I'm incubating some at temps to try to make some males. I'm incubating some at room temp to try to make females, so I can offer that. And they're a really easy species. And every single baby that I hatch, within a month, I could sell it for $600, $800. But really, man, after a couple of years ago, when I produced that large amount of snakes, I kind of realized this is not about the money, right? There's so many other hobbies you can get into, and so many other things you can do on the side that'll make you more money than reptiles. That doesn't mean you can't do that. That doesn't mean you can't make the extra money. That doesn't mean you can't do it full time. And I know people that are very successful doing this full time.
Yeah.
But is that what you want to do? And it's like we said, recognizing those patterns, recognizing those limitations is the special thing about it. And it comes from maturity. I'm sitting here telling you this at 40, and brother, I make some stupid mistakes, right? I will buy some reptiles that I do not need. And I've got some species that are, I've got some stuff that I don't really talk about too much. That's pretty nasty, and I'll be damned if I don't breed them someday. So there's some cool stuff hanging out in there that we don't talk about too much that I'm excited to breed. And nice. This year I've got some species that I'll be breeding that a few people know about. That'll be a first time complete genus for me that I'm just stoked to even try it. So, and awesome. We also have that like terrible addiction of like our friends, you'll see Jason Hood will produce these spilotes, or, anybody, I'm slipping on names, but you'll see these friends of ours, right, producing something, and you're just like, I know the guy, I know the girl, yeah. I know the peoples that be doing this. I'm gonna dip on that, and it's tough. It's tough. And then we have our little group chat, and you be seeing pictures all the time, and it's like, ooh, I do need that. So it's part of the game, right? But that also creates fun, new and exciting, right? Like go collect your Labubus, right? Like go get the complete set. It's so exciting to try to do the thing.
Yeah, no, it really is. But even if they are mistakes at the time, purchases, I think you can correct from them and like structure something in a way that makes it make sense in your collection. So
yeah, and it's it's so exciting to try new things. Every year I'm going to be adding new stuff, right? A new species or a new phenotype to a species I'm already working with. I'll every year I'll probably be getting rid of something that at one point I had a lot of passion for, or a lot of excitement, or a lot of love, or something that I worked really hard to. And that's just the way it goes. Do I have my main projects? Yeah, we talked about that. I promise you, in 10 years, if I'm still doing snakes, and God willing I will still have Jani, and I will still have Leonis, and I'll still have Alterna, and I'll probably still have corn snakes. I don't see that going anywhere either. And these thorn scrubs, right? And the Emery complex stuff. I didn't even talk about it. I think I had talked about it that year. I have a really pretty some South Alpine wild caught Emery, and the male's like really light. I'm not going to call him hypo. He's not hypo, but he's just like way lighter than most of the Emery from there.
Okay.
And I got some eggs from them this year. So the babies hatched. They all kind of look the same, which is both kind of annoying, but also really intriguing. Which none of these babies look like the dad. They all look like the mom, who's like a typical D tier dirt snake, right? And but the dad has this really light. Did I leave?
You glitched for a second. You're back.
That wasn't me. That was you. But yeah, like so. But that's actually kind of intriguing. Now I have these babies that don't look anything like the dad. So it's like, well, shit. Now I got to hold on to them, then breed them together. And what if some of them look like the dad? And what if 25%? We said statistics are fake and math isn't real, but what if 25% or somewhere around there look like the dad? And then you got to stop and go, wait, is this something? And I don't know. And so that'll be another neat path to go down. Me and Justin paired up a Tessera Ghost into a wild caught Ladies Island corn a couple years ago. And then so I have an F1 Ladies Island, and then I have this Tessera corn that's just like wild type with Tessera. It's a co-dominant trait.
Yep.
And it's badass. Well, now I get to pair those together and make more. And hopefully, it's nothing exceptionally special, but it's a project with a buddy, and I'll get to see where that goes. It's just that's where that excitement is. You starting that project out and seeing how and where it comes to fruition. Really is wonderful. Leonis, I'll be able to pair up 8 Leonis next year. I didn't do well with my Leonis this year, and again, my Leonis, my Alterna, I just didn't do great with this year, and I think that's a little bit on my own shoulders. Maybe not paying enough attention to feeding patterns, not keeping females. Maybe be a little bit more aggressive with the females. Maybe I need to go through. I'm gonna double check my temps and stuff. Maybe I'm getting some temperature swings. I need to put some gobies in with some of these snakes. Am I getting temperature swings that I'm missing? Maybe I don't have this ARS rack.
Oh, I think you dropped. Kris. Is it me or is it him? Someone in the chat. Oh, yeah, it was him. Hold on. Hopefully, he should just be able to hit the join button again. Maybe his Wi-Fi went a little weird. Yes, John, I'm doing I'm a little bit closer this time, but I'm doing New York to Fort Wayne, which I checked the GPS. It's looking like it's about 10 and a half, 11 hours. Probably depends on the time and, what time I'm passing through certain places, but yeah. Kris, are you back here? Hold on. I think you're back.
Yeah. I don't
Got
know
it?
what happened. Usually my connection is
No, it's all
yeah.
good. I think you.
I have a really good
Oh, you're
connection.
glitching
And I'm
again.
hardwired in right now, but don't you
Okay.
have like
Oh,
hello?
yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay.
That was weird.
You're good. I think.
Uh, I don't know why my internet is doing that. That's weird.
On your computer, if you have other like tabs open, just try closing out of everything else. Sometimes that makes StreamYard run a little better. Zach, this time around on this drive, honestly, I should be good. I think what I'm doing is just waking up early and hitting the road, beating like the early New York City traffic. As long as I get through and get to Jersey, I'll fly. Because then it's Jersey, PA, Ohio. Is there anything else in between? Is it Ohio, Indiana? I think. Zach, I actually looked because I think I was curious. You are a little bit out of the way from me on that drive. Yes, as long as my car doesn't die, which I have a new car now, and I just got an oil change, and we should be all good. I think this year's drive is much smoother. My car's a 2024 now, but yeah.
I don't know what happened, Joe. I'm sorry
All right,
about that.
Chris.
Can you hear me all right?
No, yes, I can. No worries. It happens.
I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, oddball. It's cool. It's the little boo-boos, dog. They'd be, they'd be getting in the system, right?
They're cursing the internet.
Yeah. No, I went and checked my my router and stuff. Everything looks good. But yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So fun projects. Everything's moving.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. Let's see. We kind of covered the gist. You killed it on this one. You took the ropes and you went. Are there any other, you kind of mentioned like you like where your collection's at,
Yeah.
you're moving out of some of the geckos, but like what about snakes? Or is there anything that's like still like calling out to you a little bit that you're like, I might do this down the road?
There's a lot of stuff. There's some stuff in the Alterna world that I still want to kind of dipple into. I may want to get some of those black gap hypos and the black gap anneries. Those are pretty special. I don't know. I don't want to ever produce too many Alterna, just because of some of the complexities that come with them, and just that I have a wide gamut of stuff. With the Pitiophis, I probably see myself moving a little bit out of the, I've got northern pines, black pines, leucistic pines. Those will probably at some point have to go, sadly, just to make room for the Jani and the Depi that are going to be raising up, the Vertebrates, 3.3 verts, and then the Bimaris. But I really want to be able to lock in and focus on those species. I think I've got them figured out, and so that's like the focus, right? Like that's the thing. I have some Pitiophis Catenifer pomilis, which is the smallest species of Pitiophis. I asked Eric how big his adults were, and his adults, Eric Westmoreland, who I got them from, his adult pair that's like 8 years old, 9 years old. His big female is like 190 grams or something. It's a small snake. It's smaller than a corn snake. And they're like this really busy, heavy patterned gopher snake, right? Like it looks like a little bull snake. It looks like a little San Diego gopher is what it looks like. So I'll hopefully be able to do something with them. They're pretty special. They're slow growers, which is weird. But dude, they're tiny when they hatch. Yeah. They're like little garter snakes. There is a pretty good chance over the next year or two that Asian stuff makes it back into the collection. I don't think I'll do the beauty snakes again. And not because I dislike them. They're great, dude. Chinese beauties are damn good snakes. And I did them for a while, and I had a lot of success. 4 years breeding them straight. And I raised them things up from, little tiny wiggle worms. Cave dwellers are great. They're kind of always on my radar. I had a pair at one point I got from like a biologist. I wish I remember his name.
Oh no. Wow, that time he just got kicked off by his internet. Damn. I have no idea what happened there. Let's see. He should be back. I think he's back.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that one, you were in the middle of talking and you just disappeared. I was just like, all right.
Oh, wow, man. I'm sorry to everybody listening. But yeah, the Asian stuff is still tickling my fancy. Like I said, I was talking about cave dwellers. They're really special. I know that's kind of back on that 03 Oaks group. I had a pair for a while. Man, some of the Mandarin stuff is really cool. John has, man, I'm going to forget the species. He's got some really cool Asian stuff. Rufo Zanatum, I think, is what it is. And like nobody has those. I think that's something he got from Matt Most. They're really badass. They're like king snakes from Asia. There's a lot of neat stuff, a lot of neat Asian stuff that people just don't have. What is it? The Ascopalian rat snakes have kind of always been something I've looked at and wanted to try. Rufo Zanatum, yeah, John just posted in the chat. What Mandarin rats are just like badass, right? And it's like these are things that's like, oh, cool temps, D tier, ground snake. It's a dirt snake. I'm about that. So yeah, we'll see. I really want to hit Leonis hard. I really want to just. I have some neat lines of Leonis. I've got some bloaty pinner stuff. I've got some Arambarai blood mixed in there, stuff that not everybody has. So being able to start bringing that stuff out and really see some of the different phenotypes you can create with Leonis will be really neat. I've got some cool Mex-Mex. John kind of is like the guy with Mex-Mex, so I've kind of always worked stuff with him. I had Greerai for a while. That's another Mexicana, and I didn't love them, and so I've actually moved on all my Greerai. But you'll kind of find that as like I'm one of those people, like I work with a group of animals. I kind of want to try all. I want to have the whole group of stuff and find which ones are my favorite. But yeah, there's some really neat stuff out in the hobby that is either underappreciated or is overappreciated, right? And I want to try some of that. I see that's probably where the collection goes. I don't see a ton of growth happening, with the exception of stuff like in my collection, right? Like, so I have that Aberant female that gave me eggs, the Aberant Jani. Let's see what those do. Let's see what those babies look like. Like, am I holding back a whole clutch, right? Like, these are all things that happen. I really hope that some of those. I know that I'm going to have some Jani going with John to Colubrid Fest. I'm hoping maybe I can even send some Aberrants with them, and maybe Patrick Holmes, I think, is going to get one from me this year.
Okay, nice.
I'm going to try to get Jake one this year, and then Jake Bratz, the Bratz hammer, and then hopefully maybe I'll send some with John if I can, and people can really take a look at them and maybe get those out in the market, because I can't keep them all, which is kind of bullshit, because I'd like to just keep them all. But yeah, so there'll be some cool stuff of mine going with him. I think I'll have a black pine. There'll probably be some leucistic Florida pines going with him. But yeah, man, there's so many cool things. So many cool things that I just want to try.
It never runs out.
No,
it never runs out.
Some of the
that's what I was saying. I was saying before. I have what I have now, and I think I need to just like chill. Like, if I add any more animals, it has to be a species I already have. Like, I can't do new species right now. It's just because there's too much. So I need to go hard on these Texas rats, like see these projects through. The Coxeye are going now, which I feel good about. I'm going to try my hand at the rhinos. So once I start feeling my groove with some of the species, then I'll start thinking about other stuff. But
I may eventually try to get some of that Oreo Cryptophis group. There's some really cool stuff in there. What is it, the Laticincta? Those are the ones that are like yellow and red when they hatch. I think it's the Laticincta. Those are really cool. They kind of fit my rubric. Anything that I add, it has to kind of fit the niche of what I'm doing. I'm gonna get more cave geckos, dude. Oh man, I want to get some of the funkier species. They're expensive, but hopefully some of those. I produced a lot of Heteronotia bioni, the Bion's gecko, Australian prickly gecko. It's a little tiny gecko that's parthogenic from Australia, and I produced a bunch of babies this year. They're really fun, stuff like that, right? Some micro geckos. I might get some of the Lygodactylus, the electric blue day geckos, or something. The little thing. I like the little stuff. I'm gonna go from leechies to like the world's smallest gecko.
Dude, sometimes when it comes to geckos, I gotta say, like, I get little kicks in my head. I'm just like, I wish I could keep some geckos. It's like I have a singular Chihuahua.
Yeah,
I'd like to get more Chihuahuas. Like, I do like them, I do enjoy them, but then it's just, like you said, the lizards are so much more work, and it's just like, do I want to do that? Do I want to add more space for geckos when I can do it? If I could do more space, I might as well get more snakes, right? Why get geckos when I could get snakes? So sometimes I fight with that in my head when it comes to the lizards. So I don't know.
It's tough. And I think any geckos that I do get have to kind of meet the feeding patterns that I'm doing, right? Like, I've got a bunch of cave geckos. I can do more cave geckos, and I have space for more cave geckos.
Right.
Micro geckos, right? I've already got fruit fly cultures and bean beetle cultures and stuff. I could do the smaller geckos pretty efficiently. I've still got fat tails and some leopard geckos. Anything that falls into that realm, maybe I'll try Nephurus again. I had some in the past when I had 4,000 Rhacodactylus in my room. It was just too humid, and I don't think they did too well. But that's changed. The temps and the humidity in my room has changed based on the species that I keep, which has been really interesting to see. Right, I don't have any gargs. I never really had cresteds, but there was a time when I had those 18 by 18 by 24 enclosures, 9 or 10 of them, right, with trios of gargs and pairs of leechies. I had some Serrasinorum at one point, but dude, the humidity in that room from misting and stuff constantly.
I was gonna say, because you were spraying all those tanks down.
Yeah. And now that's just not the case. Now it's a little bit more arid, which is way better for the Jani and the Alterna and stuff. So hopefully keeping that. Bear Dye, man, whew, there's some cool stuff going on with Bear Dye. The aneries, the hypo stuff. There's now ghosts out there.
The bears are really cool. Picking up steam lately.
Yeah. Dude, there's different localities that are badass. Bear Dye's a great.
Even just in terms of people having them, I feel like I'm seeing more people post bear drats than ever. And maybe it's just who I follow, and I don't know, but yeah, they're growing in popularity, which is cool to see.
Great snakes, dude. No. I mean, as far as D tier goes, they're top of D tier, right? They're good stuff. I'd like to see people get a little bit more excitement on the Emery complex stuff, and I'm hoping that if I'm able to produce and bring some stuff to the market that's new, maybe that will. I'm not the guy that's going to go out and make YouTube videos and stuff. I suck at that.
Right.
Stuff. I don't want to. But it just takes the right couple people to be working with them and put them in their hands. Dude, they're cool snakes, right? Like they're really, really neat. And maybe it's because they're common in the wild. Like it's the snake you find a lot of. It doesn't create a lot of excitement, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, Texas rats, dude. 20 years ago, Texas rats were straight up just bottom of F tier, right? and now they're an S plus, right?
Well, the thing is that a lot of the Texas rats morphs originated back then, and unfortunately, a ton of that shit got lost, and now it's just very few and far between. And I had Daniel Jarvis on my show, who, he's one of the guys who's, I'd call him semi-public, who's an actual good dude that's producing good stuff with the Texas. someone I'd buy from.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. But yeah, and just me talking about it on here, see, like, I know I'm helping out the species. And like you said, you're not about the YouTube, and that's totally fine. But then you have someone like Stephen Cush who puts out that Jedi video, and then they go wild. I'm sure the same thing goes for the tiger rats, because Stephen made, a couple videos on his tiger rats, and I'm sure a bunch of people saw that and probably went crazy about it. I'm sure that's helping out, Jason and whoever else is producing tigers at the moment, which that list is small.
Yeah. So I have pictures of my adult Janai that I have printed that I put on my table when I'm vending. I only vend two shows a year. And dude, I have never sold a Janai at a reptile show ever. And I took one pair from this year, and I always have that picture there. People love talking about them and asking what they are. And I had this is Corpus, dude. This isn't like a big market or anything. And I had 2 or 3 people come up and being like, "Oh, yeah, I just saw a video on these things. These are badass." And I was like, I have been talking about these things for like 8 years, telling everybody how badass they are. And they're like, "Yeah, dude, man." They would look at them, and I had one guy that was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do something with I'm gonna go talk to my wife or something." And my buddy Doug Pettis came up. He's a local guy. He has been wanting some Janai. I was gonna get him some Janai anyways. This pair was just really crispy, and he was like, "Oh, dude, these are cool." And like somebody else came up and was like, "Hey, are those pine snakes?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he showed me a picture from this video of this guy that, from Stephen Cush. And I was just like, "Yeah, that's the species." I was like, those are a different line. Those have more contrast. These are a lot more pale, right? Like mine are a light yellow. And he was like, "Oh, those are badass." And my buddy Doug was all, "No, those are mine. No, I'm getting those. And I was like, "Dude, that's cool." I told him, I was like, "Hopefully I put a Aberant in his hands this year too." And maybe I'll have to reach out to this gentleman and say, "Hey, I produced this seemingly new thing in these Aberrants. Maybe we'll work something out and get that out into the hobby so people know, because there's always been Aberrants and stripes in the hobby, but not from this line." And not like this. So I hate to. I'm not new. I'm not special. This isn't some unique thing I did, because something like this existed already, but it didn't look like this. It was the pattern that would create the striping, and not that aberrant diffusing. So that's exciting, right? Like it's something new and special, and it's But back on the Texas rats thing. I swear, wasn't there like a lavender or a lavender albino?
There is.
And they're
funny enough, Kevin Sheehan, my good friend from Offspring Reptiles, we did a couple joint pairings over the last couple years on Texas rats. I bought a pair of quad hets from him, which have albino. He bred 2 albino animals together this year, one of which was an albino leucistic, and I believe is the father of the 2 animals I have from him.
Okay.
And they produced 0 visual albinos, which says that one of them is Lav albino. So he thinks the dad of mine were lavender albino. So that's a pair of quad hats with lavender albino, which is really cool, but going to take a few years, but hopefully that proves out to something.
Because there's lavender albino, there's regular albino, there's 2 lines of leucistic, or is it 1?
I think it's all technically the same thing, but the Mineral Wells line of leucistic is supposed to be very clean, and yes, it's a locale thing.
And then you've got the true scaleless.
The scaleless, the anery. Yeah. Believe a couple other things. Apparently there's this Daniel has it. I was talking about him, the Lloyd Lemke hypo line. Or hypo, I believe it's a recessive. There's cadmium, so there's a lot of cool stuff.
Lloyd Lemke did so much for this hobby, and it's almost like his name isn't spoke of anymore. But man, he did a ton with Pitchophis, a ton with Lampropeltis, Antherophis. And it's cool, man. Seeing black rats come back in popularity. There's some badass black rat stuff going on out there that people just don't even know about.
Black rats are pumping right now. They're doing well. Clint's doing a good job over there with that. I know Glenn Brooks just taking some really high quality photos of his black rats, is helping those out right now. So
that's so it's cool. There's really been a true resurfacing in this hobby of unique North American stuff. a lot of Mexican and a lot of United States stuff. And I think that's cool. Garter snakes are kind of coming back in popularity, and I love seeing that.
I think all colubrids are like hot right now.
Yeah.
You got colubrids, you got good looking ones, cool ones. People making high quality stuff in the colubrid world are selling their animals, and that's just straight facts.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of passion in it, and now we have, and it sucks. I'm not gonna be there, but you got Colubrid Fest, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully Colubrid Fest becomes a thing where maybe we'll have someday there'll be 2 or 3 a year. Maybe there'll be one in California. Maybe there'll be one in Texas. Maybe there'll be one in Indiana. It's in Indiana, right? Indianapolis. Sorry.
In Indiana. It was Indianapolis last year. It's in Fort Wayne now, but yeah.
Fort Wayne now, yeah. Maybe there'll be one in Florida, right? It's something that can really, really, truly grow, because you kind of find that there's so many people that are so passionate about colubrids, and there's a reason for it. They really do. They are very different, and they're very special. And I'm not going to sit here and hate on ball pythons. It's a cool snake, but put a ball python in a kid's hands, and then give them a corn snake, right? And they're like, man, this one moves and it wraps around my hand and it's doing stuff, and it almost has this little bit higher level of intelligence, and maybe a little bit easier to keep, right? Like, you could probably just keep a corn snake for its whole life at room temperature, and it's gonna be fine, right? It might not breed, it might not, you won't be able to cool. Who cares, right? Like, it's just fun, and we have people that are becoming passionate about different types of care. We have people that are really becoming passionate about the old lines and trying to find examples of stuff. It's cool, and I see a lot of passion in the younger guys, people like you, a lot of people that are on the THN group. It's kind of resurfacing. Whereas this, I'm like in the middler, right? Like, I'm not part of the OG older group, and I'm not part of the new young group. I'm in that kind of 35 to 45 range in age, where we got to see all of it, right? Like, I got to live life on geeksnake.com and have reptiles magazines, and that's how we found out about stuff. And now I'm trying to, figure out how social media works a little better. So, it's cool. This hobby is a great thing to be in right now. And I think a lot of people would agree.
Absolutely.
It's cool. It's cool as hell. And look at all these podcasts we have now. It's like a lot of really good podcasts. I like never get to listen to them. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, cool, man. Do you have any final thoughts you want to give? We're a little over the 2-hour mark. For anyone listening that doesn't follow Kris already, the link to his Instagram is in the description. But Kris, anything else we missed or anything else you want to hit on?
No, I just, people listening to this, I'm sorry about my little internet interruptions, but keep remembering, man, it's something I've been pushing this year. People are flawed. Everybody's going through something. You don't know what it is. People make bad decisions, and sometimes those are flash judgments. Let's stop vilifying and blaming people for things that are outside of your own control. Let's be honest. The people that aren't honest, the people that create their own problems, they'll weed themselves out, or they'll evolve too. They'll get further in life and mature. Be patient with this, right? If you're getting into the hobby, it's a lot to learn. And 25 or more years in, I don't know it all. I still ask people questions. I sometimes ask the dumbest questions possible just because I want to see what people are going to tell me, and that's okay. What temps do you keep your snakes at? Oh, well, if you're really talking about the snake, you surely know. Look, I've been breeding these things for 20 years. I'm just asking what you do, right? I didn't need to say that up front. I was just asking you a question. But yeah, as long as we keep communicating, as long as we're honest, we're altruistic in our movements and in our decisions, this is only going to be a better and better thing. And I only see this hobby growing, and I only see people becoming more passionate. So let's keep that up. People like you, Joe, you guys are out doing the work. Your Justins, your Jakes, your Zachs, your Clints, your there's so many others, right? Let's keep it going.
When's the next Corn Stars episode?
Oh man, so yeah, my work schedule's been a little rough this year. We did a few King Snake Chronicles, and we did
those two.
So we do have a plan for another king snake guest. I've already talked with them. We have another corn stars guest. We did the episode with Craig Trumbauer, which was exceptional. That was so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
Just the stories. Talk about finding a dead body, right? It's just like in the middle of this conversation, you just, oh, there was that one time I found a dead person. It's like, all right, that's what we're talking about now. But you know, and it's stuff like that. Like, let's get these stories out. Let's get these people on. Let's be honest with them and get their voices in our heads, because we weren't there at Daytona in 1999 when they were swapping shit in bedrooms or in hotel rooms, right? So let's get those stories. Let's be patient and calm with them and take our time and get those people on the air and see what they're about. So the next Corn Stars, the next King State Chronicles soon, hopefully. I need to get back out and do that. You know, I've got Joe Rosa helping me on Corn Stars. I've got Harry Claiborne. God damn it, I always say Claiborne. Claiborne. The Hobbit of Herpetoculture, helping me with King State Chronicles. So we'll probably have John on again. He's a great guest, and yeah, we're gonna do that stuff, and hopefully, awesome. I'd love to get something together about Caligaster. Nobody talks about Lampropeltis Caligaster. That's a complex I'd love to learn more about.
Yeah,
I'd like to get somebody. I've talked with some people in like South Africa about corn snakes. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, but we have a buddy in one of our Corn Stars groups that breeds corn snakes in South Africa. And I'd love to be able to find the right way to link up with him and find out what the hobby's like in other places. That'd be amazing. Yeah. So stuff like that. And I need to do more. I need to stop working so much, but also I need to work as much as I possibly can. So it is what it is. But yeah, hell yeah. What about you, Joe? What's your next step? What's the next move? You got Colubrid Fest coming up. You got a couple collections.
Yeah, man. Colubrid Fest. Yeah, honestly, so I don't know how much you've listened in the last since I moved, I guess, or so. This year was a weird year with the move to New York.
Stuff on the animals, stuff on you.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm lucky that I'm even gonna hatch 20 animals this year. But I'll take it. You know, like I said, 2 cockeye out, another 5 cooking, and what is it, like 13 ball python eggs or so, or 14. Nice. So, you know, I'm just happy about that. And then I have a lot of animals that should hopefully be ready for next year for breeding. So it's just a matter of getting my shit dialed in, hopefully having a successful brumation. And this year I get to have a true brumation finally and like figure that out.
Yeah, it gets cold there.
So, yeah, it gets cold. And I think a lot of these Texas rats I'm putting in the attic to get cold.
That's right.
Yeah, so I finally get to do that for once, so it should be interesting, but I have to kind of see my way through that process as well. So cool. As long as that goes well, next year should be really cool. I'm really looking forward. I think it's hard to say what I'm most excited about. It's a toss-up between potential of rhino rats, but like I know I have Texas rats that will go next year. Yeah. And it's like those Texas rat projects, they're ready to see through some cool stuff. So I'm excited.
Cool. Awesome. I'm excited to see it.
Going on.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Well, Kris, thank you again so much for coming on. I'm going to quickly run this outro and we could talk for a couple minutes afterwards, but thank you, Kris.
And if anybody's interested in the stuff I'm working with, real quick, I will be sending snakes with John Lasser to Colubrid Fest. So if there's something you want to pick up from him, something that any of the species I've been talking about, I can facilitate that pretty easily. So we can skip out on shipping where it's 100 degrees outside and go from there.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good PSA. You should definitely post that too, so that people know, because there's a lot of people going to Colubrid Fest. But yeah, all right. Well, thank you once again to Fulvius Apparel for supporting Colubrid Corruption. Guys, go to fulviusapparel.com. Check out all the apparel items you could get: sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, mugs, koozies, all that good stuff with a bunch of cool reptile designs. Go to fulviusapparel.com. Use code CC10 at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code CC10 for 10% off. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on today's podcast. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Once again, if you aren't already, drop a comment. Let us know what your favorite part of the episode was. You could also listen to this on all the major audio podcasting platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, all that good stuff. Give us a 5-star review. Check out the Meteoric Serpents Colubrid Corruption Patreon in the first link in the description below if you want to support the show and also get some cool benefits out of it, as cheap as a cup of coffee for the bottom tier. So, and then, yeah, make sure you guys tune in next week. We'll have some more good stuff cooking. And once again, guys, this was episode number 77 of the Colubrid Corruption Podcast with Kris Badlands of Badlands Herpetoculture. Hope you guys have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Peace.